Don't be a boob. For more videos like this one, please subscribe to this channel.
You heard what Donnie said. Bill Belichick's still there. His focus is Lombardi's. Sage, I'm going to leave it at that. Coaches make a difference, and they have the best one.
Marcus, the only Wahlberg we respect is Mark. That's it.
All four teams in the division kick off 1 Eastern on Sunday. Bills host the Jets. Miami and New England for Week Game 7 will take place tonight, and Tim Legler joins us live as well. Malika, I'll start with you. Both head coaches, two of the best in the business, Nick Nurse, Brad Stevens. How are they separately approaching Game 7?
Well, let's start with the Raptors, Sage. And first, I am so excited for this game tonight. But on the Raptors side, Nick Nurse and his squad are drawing confidence from the fact that they had some big series last year, potentially none bigger.
Buzzer beater last season against the Sixers. All right, Malika, we understand that there is breaking news coming out of the bubble regarding the Rockets. What can you tell us?
Well, Daniel House, Sage, has actually left the bubble after the NBA conducted an investigation and determined that on September 8th, he had a guest in his hotel room that was not permitted.
Today, another somber day, seemingly in a year full of them. On this date 19 years ago, I remember turning on the TV. I was turning it on in time to see the second plane go into the South Tower. Our son, who's a college sophomore now, was 3 months old at the time. He's sitting there on the floor, and I'm looking at him. And the contrast, his innocence, he's so oblivious, and I'm seeing the horror on the TV set. And I knew for the rest of his life, he's going to be taught about this in school. He'll hear about this day in history, really, for eternity.
You know, David, I was in high school, and I remember watching the live footage unrolling with horror and despair, just as the generations of teenagers did. Everyone gets scared, but that time was different. It was hard in the moment to not feel alone and in fear of what could come next. And yet, not long after that, in the aftermath out of that loneliness and despair, we saw our nation come together in a way that it hadn't in a generation. Bill Curry shares his story from that day, not from New York or Washington, but from a small town in Alabama in this excerpt from the ESPN Plus Saturdays in the South series. This year, our nation has been swept by the coronavirus pandemic and protests ranging from coast to coast demanding racial justice. The NBA, MLB, pro hockey, and indeed every sport that's returned to play has dealt with both, and plenty of us wondered how our country's biggest show, the NFL, would go on. Well, last night in Kansas City, we finally got to see the NFL embracing players' voices, all amid societal unrest and a pandemic.